Yes, so I'm Chrissy Shirley, and I'm a facilitator of consciousness.
Woo! Consciousness, baby.
And I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Anthony Mattis, who's just been to a class called Maestro in Rome with Dr. Dane here. And he was just telling us a little bit about that. So just giving people a bit of a background, would you like to just give us a little bit of what I know you've been telling us, the huge picture or the huge energy of it. But for those of us who've just joined us, would you like to just say, I don't know, what would you like to say?
Well, yeah, what would I like to say? It's like we just got done talking about the Maestro, and it's like, I guess, part of the reason why we're doing this call is because I am coming to New Zealand to, Chile and Rocco are hosting me to come down to your beautiful country to facilitate a 3-day body class.
Yay!
And
thank you so much for coming.
Woohoo! Thanks for
excited.
and the invitation. You guys have been amazing, and I'm just really excited because of this space that you're already creating, and the class is several months away. And so you could already tap into the energy of what this class is going to be and the contribution is going to be to people's bodies and their beings, so I'm really, really grateful, and I can't wait to come. So, and I've been to New Zealand twice at the Chateau where Gary and Dane used to have the 7-day event there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, yeah. So, I'm Dr. Anthony Mattis. I was a chiropractor for like almost 20 years. And now I'm basically doing Access Consciousness full time. Why? Because it's changed my life so much so. I mean, I kind of led a life of like chronic melancholia ever since I came into this body. And goodness gracious, I always knew I wanted to help people. I became I was a holistic chiropractor for 20 years, but never really quite satisfied with what I was creating in people's worlds. I always knew there was something more that was possible. Got married. My late wife, the children's mother, committed suicide. She suffered from bipolar disorder. At least that's what this reality refers to it as. And, we tried a lot of different modalities. We, everything from having gurus to non-denominational Christianity. We prayed in tongues. We were rebirthers. We did breath work. We were metaphysicians, and we did concept therapy, and you name it, the list goes on and on and on. But we were always searching and seeking, things of the consciousness world just to help our lives become better, and for her to kind of sort of be able to live a life with no medicines, no addictions, and no episodes, as they call them, with the bipolar. And so it was a struggle. I've been struggling since the day I actually came into this body up until about 6.5 years ago when I found Access Consciousness. So my late wife had been gone for 9 months, and this thing called the bars came into my children and I's life. And at first I remember I'm like, well, I'm probably a lost cause. I've invested so much money in all these different modalities, and my life is nothing greater than mediocrity. But I see how the bars can really impact the children. So I'm going to just keep coming back because I know it's affecting them, and hopefully they won't be screwed up like their mom, or like me, but just in a different way. But so then all of a sudden I just started like getting these results. It was like parts of the universe would start to open up to me, even in a bars class, or my body would go through a particular vibration of some sort that was so different than anything else I had ever experienced before in the other modalities. And so I knew that there was something to this work. I didn't know what, but I knew that there was something to the work in these tools of Access Consciousness. And so, my kids loved it. They wanted to go. And then things just kept showing up for me over and over again. I could not deny the results that I was experiencing. And then I remember going to my first body class. The kindness and the nurturing and the level of receiving that I, was experiencing was just off the charts. And there's this particular body process I had been a hopeless romantic my whole entire life, okay? But I was a kind of person that would attract people that weren't kind and nurturing to me and my body. And I was in a lot of abusive relationships. And I know it's like, even for a man, no one like beat me up physically, but verbally, it's like I would give my whole heart and soul to the relationship, and I would literally let these women walk all over it. And then when the relationship was over, it was like, where am I? Like, who am I? And it was like, I would give up all my power, all my potency, and I would stop creating my life to make these relationships work. And so I remember my very first body class, it was a body process that's specifically designed to help you and your body to receive people that will be kind and nurturing to your body. It's a really long name. Don't ask me to tell you what the name of it is, because I can't remember. It's like the magnetic attraction of generative sexual energies embodied or something.
Okay.
Some blah, 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 blah. But it has to do with just being able to receive people who are going to be kind and nurturing. Because what's one of the number one things we don't do well in this reality? We don't receive. And many people, they just go from one abusive relationship to another abusive relationship to another abusive relationship. Different package, but same scenario. And so all of a sudden, it was like everywhere where I was functioning from being unconscious, because of doing these body classes and getting the bars, it was like I was able to see things that were not going to work for me in my body anymore. So I started finally choosing for me. I know that sounds like common sense, but when you're crazy like I was, you don't make common sense choices like that. You keep making stupid choices. So my life has completely changed. I mean, and so exponentially, I really can't really describe it. It's just a little bit.
Right. So Anthony, you know how you are now a facilitator of the 3-day body class. So you go around the world and facilitate those 3-day body classes.
Hell yeah, of course. I'm going to Beijing tomorrow. I'm leaving Beijing tomorrow. Yeah.
So can you give us an idea of why would anybody want to choose to go to a body class, a 3-day body class?
Well, I just gave you a huge one right there. It's just really being able to receive kind and nurturing just energies from an individual, whether it's from your lover, even a friend. And I'm not saying it's got to be about copulation, like not that necessarily, but it could be about that. I digress a little bit, but not totally that far back. But, it's like, oh my God, being able and willing to receive more money.
Right.
Being able to have communion with your lover, communion with all things, all living things, even the chair that you're sitting on, right? It's made up of subatomic particles. There's consciousness in the atoms that make up the chair that you're all sitting on right now, right? But being able to have communion and oneness in all things, having these body processes done creates the space in your body to not only change things that aren't working, but also to help you to receive more so that you could actually have the oneness and communion with all things.
Okay. Wow. That's an awesome explanation. Wow.
Yeah. But like in this, let's use this realities thing. It's like, you want to have better sex? Have these body processes done. It works. I mean, it helps you to lower your barriers and just to relax. And, if you're a male over 45 years of age, relaxing and getting excited sometimes could be a problem, right? Sometimes you're like, hey, where'd you go, buddy? Come on back. But all of a sudden, getting these body processes done, you're like, woohoo, we're back. Let's go. So if you're a male, you can understand what I'm talking about, especially if you're like in your 40s and stuff. And, but I mean, if you had abuse in your body, these processes help to melt anywhere where you've locked abuse into your body. And it's incredible, and it does work. And how fast it works, that I can't tell you. It's different for everyone, but it does work.
So when you say we've locked abuse into our bodies, what do we do? How do we do that?
Well, number one is if you resist and react to the abuse that you've experienced, and also sometimes aligned and agreed with it.
Yeah.
So anytime you're functioning from one or the other of those two scenarios, polarity, you're going to lock that abuse into your body. And it can show up a variety of different ways. It can show up as back pain, neck pain, stomach problems, digestive issues, depression, all these different things. And so, when you start to receive these body processes, it begins to literally melt those densities, those physical solidifications that we call those in Access Consciousness. So the body actually can start to change, and then it begins to have the capacity to actually create almost a new body. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you want to give us an idea of what some of the body processes are that we will be having in?
Well, it's basically you all create the class. I mean, there's over 50 body processes, and it's like, so to tell you what body processes a person's going to get, I don't know. That depends on them and their partner. And this is what this class really encourages, is to help you to access your knowing.
Yeah.
It's to create that space in your world, in your reality, to know what your body requires, so that it can live, or you and your body can live the life that you desire. Because we put I don't know about New Zealand, but I know in the United States, is like we look at the medical doctor as the gatekeeper to our health. So much so that like we take our own awareness out of the equation. And it's like in the medical profession, and not to say anything bad about the medical profession, but if there's something wrong, their job is to diagnose it and typically provide a medicine to make it go away, right? But, well, what if you have an awareness that that's not going to work for you in your body? And what if there's a different possibility, right? Especially with the chronic conditions that people suffer from. Right. So it's like this work is designed to help you to access what you know and what your body desires and requires. And you and your partner together, and, I'll help as a facilitator, but I'm not going to tell you which processes to run on yourselves. We're going to invite you to access your knowing. And that's something that takes time and practice.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit more about that? We've got a question that's come through. Sure. Where a lady's asking, how do we know what energies the body needs?
You ask a question. That's one of the number one things we teach in Access Consciousness. That's one of the 10 commandments, or the 10 keys to freedom. And number one, you always want to live in and as the question, right? In this reality, we're always trying to find the solution to a problem, right? We're always coming at things from a very linear point of view. Like, okay, well, if I have this symptom and this symptom and this symptom, then it must be this, this, or this, right? And if it's this, this, or this, then I should be eating this, I should be drinking this, I should be taking this vitamin, or I should be taking this antibiotic or something, right? But what if you're like, okay, body, what are you trying to tell me with this? Instead of calling it a pain, what if we change it to an intensity? Okay, body, what are you trying to tell me with this intensity? What are you actually aware of, body, that I'm not willing to acknowledge? And then boom, what if you get this awareness like, I don't know, like, I need to quit my job because I've been doing this job for the last 15 years and there's nowhere in that job I'm utilizing my capacities and potencies, right?
Right.
And all that stuff gets stuck in your body. If you're not expressing yourself, right? If you're not utilizing your capacities and potencies, where does that energy go? Where does it go?
Where does it go?
Stay stuck. Yeah, exactly. And we know that energy is never still, but if you have a lid on your capacities and potencies, it's going to wreak havoc on your body. And then you're going to start yelling at the people you love. You're going to make them wrong for everything that they do because you're constantly frustrated. You're constantly bitter, right? So it's like all these different things to, with these body processes, about asking a question. Okay, what is this? What are you trying to tell me, body? So we're going to be talking about asking questions so you could become more aware of what it is that you need and what it is that you require. So if you do go to a medical doctor and he says, well, you have this, this, and this, so you must take this, this, and this, you'll learn how to ask them a question. Okay, if I don't choose to do this or this or this, what's your point of view, doc? Because I may try this, this, and this, So it's like, it doesn't mean, look, consciousness includes everything and it judges nothing, right? That includes the medical profession. That includes holistic practitioners, energy healers, all that. This work is all designed to help you ask questions so you can access your knowing and make the choice that works for you and your body. That's it.
That easy, eh?
It is that easy, but we don't trust ourselves. Most of us don't.
We don't. I know. Hey, we have a question coming again from Karen. It's saying, she says, so the body can tell us about emotional things as well as body things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally. So
Right.
you'll know. Yeah. And, again, we don't want to make it linear. So if I say, okay, if you're like, I have this chronic neck pain or shoulder pain, I can easily say, okay, well, whose burdens are you carrying on your shoulders, right? Now, that may be appropriate for your particular neck pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for someone else, I may ask a different question, right? So, like, for example, someone's like, do we pick these body processes with our mind, or does our body choose? Basically, your body and your awareness, consciousness chooses. And the way that you choose is by you ask a question, and the thing that pops, that's what you go with, even if it makes no sense whatsoever.
Uh-huh. Yeah, for sure.
But the body knows. The body is super, 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 super aware, and we don't acknowledge that in this reality.
So are you saying that we've kind of not really given our bodies credit for the consciousness?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. We're trained to numb out things, to become unaware. Take this pill here. Don't worry about why you have it. Just take this pill, and if the symptoms go away, then you're good.
Yeah. And
That's
then
not consciousness.
no.
But if you ask a question, be like, hey, you know what? Okay, my body requires that pill. I'm going to take that pill. Boom. That's consciousness. That's awareness, because you're asking a question and it's light for you energetically to take that pill.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really following your own awareness and your own knowing. And it takes time and practice,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So is there anything else that we want to ask you about you? And
Karen asked how long I've been an Access Consciousness certified facilitator. I've been a facilitator for 6.5 years now. I can't believe it. So it's like in January of 2019, I'll be a facilitator for 7 years. Yeah. So it's crazy. I'm an old timer now.
Oh, really? What about the work that you do? Is it called ASB work?
Oh, well, that's the name that Dane came up with. Dr. Dane here, who's the co-creator of Access Consciousness, he created this amazing body of work called ESB, Energetic Synthesis of Being. And, there was just one magical day where he and Gary asked me to work on them as a chiropractor, not energetically, but as a chiropractor. And I just started laying my hands on them, and their bodies started flopping around all over the place. So the details of the story are actually on my website. I asked Dane, I said, well, he basically said, you do, Gary and Dane actually said, I do very similar, I tap into a similar universe as Dane. So they're like, why don't you call it Anthony's Synthesis of Being? And you'll learn how to do these particular energy work or modality in a class that Dane teaches called Symphony of Possibilities, SOP. And so the ASB was something that he actually named and has kind of given me permission to call the energy work that I do.
Yeah.
It literally transforms people's lives. And it's beautiful. I mean, it's just, that's all I can say. It can change anything. But most importantly, just to help people to have more communion with themselves and with life around them.
Yeah.
And, what people usually say is they just have a more sense of ease and connection and communion with themselves again that maybe they haven't had in their lives, or maybe ever in some instances.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And so you'll be offering those sessions when you come to New Zealand?
Yeah, they won't be done during a body class, but I'll be offering them during lunch, and like I'll do sessions after class is over.
And do people do like, do you do group sessions or private sessions or?
Do both, whatever people choose. You know, groups, lot of fun too. A lot of people are like, well, I want a private session. But what's beautiful about a group is because we're all connected, and sometimes it's difficult to, like, when you're working with someone one-on-one, they're not lowering their barriers. But then when I work around the person over here, there's something about what's going on in their universe that unlocks something in the other person's universe. It's really quite magical to observe that as you're doing the session. So it's like we're all in this together. Like all of us on this call, we're all contributing to each other energetically.
Yeah.
And that's how the quantum entanglements work. When you desire to create something to show up in your life, we do it by asking a question. We do it by making choices, right? So it's question, choice, possibility, and contribution. Now, the contribution is not only what we can contribute to the world, but also what we're willing to allow the world to contribute to us. And that goes back to receiving as well. And so we're in on this all together. So the group sessions are wonderful because it's like we're just like quantum entanglements together, working together to create this just magical space of possibility. Because once you have that possibility, because most of us are like, oh my God, this is my life and I got all these problems. But
Yeah.
boom, all of a sudden the space gets created and you're like, oh my God, I have choice now. And some people freak out and they'll be like, no, I don't want all that choice. And they go like this, right? But I'll be like, don't do that. Don't do that. Be okay. Be okay with being in the sea, the ocean, the middle of the ocean. Even if you don't see any land in sight, be willing to be comfortably uncomfortable. I know it's like an oxymoron, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's like if you truly desire consciousness, you're going to be uncomfortable sometimes.
Okay, so
If
speaking
you
about,
want like a rah-rah seminar or something like that, then go to Tony Robbins or something. But
okay.
if you want change, sometimes you're a little uncomfortable in the process.
Okay, so speak a little bit more about that uncomfortableness. What does that
Well,
mean?
you know, we're so used to having all these reference points, all
Yeah.
these stability points, and even though they're crappy, shitty, and awful, right? It's like, but we're still used to that. We're used to the cesspool that some of us call our life, right? So boom, all of a sudden you're not swimming in the cesspool anymore. You're out in the middle of the sea. You're almost like, oh my God, nothing's familiar. I don't recognize anything. Where am I? And people start to panic. And in that panic, and then in that space, we start to slowly fill things back up again, right?
Yeah,
Because
right.
we're not used to having that space. No, you don't want to do that. That's the time where you ask more questions and say, okay, now that this space has become available to me, what else can I choose? What else can I create? What
Awesome.
else is available to me now that I haven't even considered? Write this down, you guys, and
Yeah,
run
but
it on a loop and ask this question over and over again.
can you say
That's
it
all you
again?
ever do.
Say it again, Anthony, in case we missed it.
I don't know if I can remember it, but
It
it's like
was
when you have that.
what else can I create now, right?
Yeah, totally. It's like now that this space is available to me, and you may be shaking, you may be feeling like what we would call anxiety, but it's not anxiety, it's excitement. It's excitement because you're like, for once in your life, you don't, those things that you thought were solid and real, they're not even there. They're gone. But you're sort of like, oh my God, where am I? So it's like, now that I have space, what is available to me now that I haven't chosen?
Okay.
Okay? And
Okay.
just ask. You don't need to get an answer. Just ask. And all of a sudden, you'll be walking along and boop, the universe goes, here. And you'll be like, oh my God, that matches the energy of the question. Yes, I'll choose that. Or the universe will go, this. And you'll be like, no, thank you. You know, that's not going to work for me because it doesn't match the energy of the question. So you don't choose it. I mean, it's like, because how many times have you chosen this? I mean, this is water, so maybe I shouldn't use this. Or like this, you know, and like, because it looks good, because it smells good, because it tastes good, you think it is good, but you never asked the question and you never looked at it energetically. You made a conclusion
Yeah.
that because it looks good, it may bring you a lot of money, but it
Yeah.
doesn't match the energy of the question. So you choose it, and all of a sudden in the next 5 years, you're miserable.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the things you learn with the tools of access consciousness. You learn how to ask a question. You learn how to start choosing things that match the energy of what it is that you desire. And it's available for everyone, no matter how shitty your life has been. I promise.
Wow.
That I promise you. No matter how shitty your life has been, it can get better. I can promise you that.
We need to tell the world that.
Yes, we're trying. We're trying.
That's the most amazing thing to say. No matter how shitty your life is, I promise. What did you say after that? You can have.
Yeah, it can change. And you know what? And if you don't have a shitty life, if your life is already amazing, it's like, okay, what else can I add to my life here? It's like, what else can you add? If your life is already great, guess what? It could be even greater.
Oh!
It could be even greater.
Can we have more?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And it's like, man, my goodness, there's so much. I don't know. I get really excited if you can't tell.
I love it. Thank you so much for that energy. And we have a couple more questions. Can you see that one that Karen's asking about? Is it true about the advanced class body processes are in the 3-day body class now?
No, where is it? Can you read it? I don't
Yeah.
see it.
So is it true that a lot of the advanced class body processes are in the 3-day class now?
Yeah, the whole manual has completely been revamped. So they took out a lot of the, so tons of the advanced processes are now in the 3-day body class manual. It's fantastic.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Very powerful.
There's a 3-day body class and then there's an advanced body class. So what's that?
Then you get to take a class with Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness. I believe you have to have 2 3-day body classes before you can take an advanced class with Gary. And Dane now, Dr. Dane here is actually starting to co-facilitate the advanced body classes with Gary. This is a new thing. So I think Dane's done one already in Costa Rica. And I believe they're going to Austria in November-ish sometime to do one. But so it's like, so you take these classes, amazing facilitators all over the world, like 3-day body facilitators. So, once you take 2, then you get to take the advanced class with Gary and Dane, which is like lights out. Lights out. And it's just a great way to spend 3 days. I mean, if nothing else, it's super, super relaxing.
Yeah.
And you walk out of there with so much space in your world.
And the energy builds, doesn't it, as you're in that 3-day body class? There's an energy that is quite palpable, would you say?
Absolutely. That's why I love Access so much, because it is palpable. It's like what I was talking to you all before we started the call with Maestro. It was like this thing that happened to me, for me, and for everyone. But what I became aware of, and it was so palpable. It's like, oh my God, this energy that became available to me. It's like, I can taste it. I can smell it. I can perceive it in every cell and molecule in my body. And it was like,
whoa.
I could have ran a marathon and not even have felt the effects of it. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I felt like a superhero. That's how beautiful it was. And that's what's available for everyone.
Right. So those energies, are they new energies that are created from doing?
No, there's not. No. You know what it is? That's why we call it access consciousness, because you are accessing consciousness. You're accessing what you already know. But for whatever reason, because of the implants and the explants, right? We have the implant ban. We talk about destroying and uncreating everywhere you've been implanted and explanted from not knowing, from not knowing consciousness, for things to not be working out in your life. It's because there's unconsciousness in that particular area, so that you can't have the awareness to change it, right? So access is about getting you the awareness, but that awareness is always there and available. It's just that we've had all these different things put inside of us from wherever that keep us from knowing. And access is trying to change that.
Uh-huh.
So it's not new. This stuff has always been there. It's been there yesterday, is there today, and it will be there tomorrow. And it's just really waiting for us to access it. And guess what? There's no ceiling.
Yeah.
If you think it's this much, guess what? It's beyond that.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? And for the next 30 seconds, I want everybody just to tap into the energy of what they would like to have as their life.
Oh.
Just look at the energy of what you would like to have as your life. Whatever you've considered would be an amazing life, tap into that right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What if there was way more available even beyond that?
Oh, that's awesome.
Are you willing to go beyond that? Now, I've said that to someone who's like, I feel like I'm going to throw up. Why? Because it's inconceivable that there's something available for you and all of us that's even beyond what we've decided would be good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Or did I just fry everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. What if there were no boundaries? What if there's no limit?
Yeah.
To what can be available to you and for you.
Okay.
And whatever you decided would be an amazing life, and that's okay. That's fine. If that's all, that's great. But what if there was way more?
Yeah, what if there was way more?
That's what I'm talking about. But that's what's available. And it's always been there. It's always been there, but it's kind of up to us to access that. And however it is, it doesn't have to be access consciousness. I just do this because this is what's worked for me. And
Yeah.
God knows I tried and I invested hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to get to this space that I'm in right now. And the funny thing is I'm just beginning. I'm just beginning.
Oh.
You hear what I'm saying? The first 4 years of my life in Access was about me getting through my bullshit and my drama and trauma. And then I realized, oh my God, there's so much more than just getting you through your drama and trauma. This is actually like palpable magic. There's like something that's actually undefined that could actually allow me to receive anything and everything that I desire and more if I choose it. So this is more than just your drama and trauma. It's greater than that. And there's really no words. You know, those guys do such a great job, Gary and Dane, of explaining a universe or a world that's undefinable. You know what I mean? It's really not definable. But Gary is he's such a genius with words and how certain words and the energy, he does such a fabulous job. But it's like, it's like if someone died and they come back and they try to explain where they went, it's not easy to explain that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, right.
But that's what's beautiful about these hands-on processes, because it's like you have to experience it to know, right?
Yeah.
You can perceive my excitement, but until you actually experience it for yourself, it's hard to explain these things to people. It's not easy,
Yeah.
you know? But it's like, hopefully in my excitement, enthusiasm, and if you look at my life, you can hear my story in detail on my website. The kids talk about it. I have a lot of YouTube videos. Even my kids talk about everything that we have gone through as a family. And, you know, we went through some really hard times. We went through some really dark times.
Yeah.
But that was one little part of my life. There was another part of my life that was a struggle too, from basically like the age of 1 month old until I was about just fall apart. And now it's just different. It's just a different space. And even if I have a hard day, it's different. It's not like the same hard days that it used to be. It's like I'm a different person.
Uh-huh.
You know?
are
And
a different person.
Yeah. And then when I get around family is always the best. You'll always know really where you are when you get around your family again, right? And but like even when I'm around them, it's almost like, just because I came from you doesn't mean that I am you.
No.
And you know, it's like, this is available for you too, if you choose it. And then I just have learned to have allowance for when people don't choose something more for themselves, and especially family. And it's fantastic. I'm still working on my kids, though. I'll be honest with you. Being a parent, not easy having teenagers. Not easy having teenagers. So I'll let you know when I come through or around that hole. But yeah, these tools are amazing. They're amazing for children. And like I said, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you're going through, having these tools available for you, especially for your family and at home and stuff, you could turn on the TV and then run these processes, and what it actually creates for your bodies and for your relationships.
Yeah.
There's nothing else out there from my point of view.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
And you're so excited, Anthony. You've infused every cell of my body.
I just got back from Maestro, and boy, gosh, I would love you. Just tap into my universe.
Yes,
because
I am.
When you said Maestro, it's like, oh my God.
Wow. And that's how we can change the world, isn't
Totally.
it? Like being that energy that you're being, that's now changing my energy.
Yeah, and that's available for everybody. It may not look like the way it does with me, because I like to go blah, you know, but for some of you, you may start painting, or you may start singing, or you may start journaling, or whatever the case may be, or you may start to walk out in nature, whatever. Who knows how it will show up for all of you, but it's there. It's like,
Wow, it's so wonderful to be in your energy today, Anthony, Dr. Anthony Mattis. We welcome you to New Zealand. New Zealand will just, how did we get so lucky that you're coming?
Well, thank you for the invitation. I'm grateful.
Yeah, and you know, maybe we need to kind of come to, you know, is there anything that anybody else wants to ask before we say goodbye to Anthony for today? And you're going to be coming back talking to us again, aren't you?
Yeah, I think someone else is going to interview me.
Yeah.
In the near future.
We're going to interview you, Anthony.
What else can you ask?
What else can we ask? We'll have to get some more questions. In fact, here's one that Karen would, let's just address that one. You can talk about sex all day long, but until you have it, you don't know what it really is. Well, that's a good question.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So that's about the energy of consciousness, or whatever you would call it.
Yeah, and that's the same about the 3-day body class. Like, we could talk about hours and hours and hours. What are the body processes, how it was created, and what is that? And also we can, you know, everyone has amazing testimonials about what change they went through, but really, you really need to experience it. You really need to attend it and do the body processes yourself and receive the body processes yourself for yourself.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that really is a sense of, wow, what is really accessing consciousness?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yes, I love the body processes. So, yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for having me on. Yeah.
Thanks
so much, Anthony.
Thank you so much. It was a very lovely call. Thank you.
It was awesome.
Up a lot. The space you just whoosh.
I know.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. And I really love the energy what you bring in, you know, from the Maestro. It just, I really could be there, and
Far out.
I would like have more and more and more and go beyond. Yeah.
Can we have that too, please, Scylla?
Yes.
Yeah.
And more and go beyond.
And who else would like to choose that, to have more of that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. And for those of you, you know, when you get the recording, listen to some of the things that I said over and over again, especially those specific questions with regards to your body. And when you do have space, you know, what else would you like to choose? What else is available to you? What else can you create? What else would I like to create that I haven't even considered? Like, ask those questions to yourself every day and see what shows up.
That's so wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Love it.
All right. Well, it's nice to meet all of you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, everyone,
okay?
for coming on today.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
For the questions.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.